Welcome to the Register's Report. My name is John Buckley. I'm the Register of Deeds of Plymouth County. This show is about Plymouth County real estate. The headline for the month is Real Estate Continues to Soar Over COVID. This show is being taped in December. We're reporting on the November numbers of recordings at the Registry of Deeds. I have a great guest in the second segment, Bill Callahan of Callahan Realty Group and Keller Williams Realty, discussing the current status of the real estate market, and then we're going to get into a little Plymouth County and Plymouth Colony history. So let's go right to the numbers. You're going to see a chart of deeds. Deeds are the sales of property. There were 957 deeds recorded in November, less than the 1,202 in October, 9% more than last year. There were 877 last November. And we're at the same pace we were for the first 11 months last year. Average sale price is up from last month. Let's go to a list of sales. You're going to see a listing of sales for every one of our 27 communities in Plymouth County. From Abington to Whitman, obviously, there were sales in all of our towns, Plymouth and Brockton being the highest. Story of the month for the last number of months has been mortgages, because there are a lot of people using low rates not only to purchase homes, but to refinance their mortgages. There were 3,161 mortgages recorded in November, down from the 3,447 in October, but up 38% over last November. So for the first 11 months of this calendar year, mortgages are up 46%. You're going to see a chart now for foreclosure deeds. Although the foreclosure moratorium has ended, we still see very few foreclosure deeds coming through. A foreclosure deed is when someone has lost their ownership to a lender, usually for failure to pay. The 5 foreclosure deeds this month was less than the 11 last month, although they were 81% lower than last November, and we're 47% lower for foreclosure deeds since last year. The next document you're going to see an image of is the listing of foreclosure notices. Those too are way down because of the foreclosure moratorium. There were only 6 foreclosure notices recorded in November, a little less than the 10 in October, but 93% lower foreclosure notices than last November. A foreclosure notice is the first document we see at the registry that shows someone's in trouble. If you are in trouble, make sure you reach out to a federal housing counselor. In many cases, you can do a modification of your loan, and you certainly ought to do that as soon as possible, because it makes it easier. The sooner the better. You're also going to see a listing of foreclosure deeds and notices for all of our 27 communities. There's a lot of zeros there. It's a lot different than last year, and probably a lot different than we're going to be seeing going forward. Huge change in how we operate at the registry. Almost all of our documents are being recorded over the internet. Our 3 offices are open for business, but not to the public. We have drop boxes at each of the offices to record documents. You can still go online and search records for free. There's also a property fraud alert you can find on our website for free. And again, we do expect that since the foreclosure moratorium ended on October 17th, we will see more foreclosures. I have a great guest coming up in the next segment, Bill Callahan of William Callahan Group and Keller Williams Realty, discussing the current status of the real estate market. So we'll see you in the next segment. Welcome back to the Register's Report. My name is John Buckley. I'm the Register of Deeds of Plymouth County. This segment of the show, we always do something educational in nature. We've had surveyors, appraisers, commercial lenders, and a whole range of realtors. And the realtors are the star of the real estate show. And I have a great realtor here with me today, a repeat guest, Bill Callahan of William Callahan Group and Keller William Realty.
That's great.
Welcome back, Bill.
My pleasure to be here. It's been a while since I've been here. A lot of water under the bridge, so to speak, here.
So let's refresh our viewers about how you ended up in the real estate business.
Well, before I do that, can I just say that I'm wearing a red tie for Christmas here, following the theme.
Sure.
And I wore this tie. It's the first time I've had a tie on in 11 months for John Buckley.
Isn't that the story? The story of COVID.
The story of COVID. So
I like your badge.
And that, well, I wore that special too. That's Realtor of the Year 2015.
Oh, good.
Yeah. I've been a realtor.
What's the tie picture of?
These are houses in Charleston, South Carolina.
Oh, it's a great place.
Yeah, so get it, houses.
Oh yeah. No, we went down there for a wedding last year. I love Charleston.
Yeah. Beautiful city. My wife brought that home from one of her.
That's cool. That's a great tie.
So real estate business, I've been in it for a while, 30-something years. I was independent for 30-plus years, and I've now joined this, as you mentioned a few minutes ago, the Keller Williams Realty Group franchise over in Easton. And I've been friends with Barry Papagno for many, many years. And so I just decided to get in a group. And really the decision that drove this for me was this change in technology we were talking a few minutes ago. And I didn't want to be left behind, getting up there in years. I didn't want to be the guy up there that doesn't know how to do anything. And we have now Keller Williams Command Program, it allows me to have my contacts in one place, email campaigns, text campaigns, Facebook. I mean, I can't tell you all that it does. So I was successful in that endeavor in trying to really stay with this market.
It's incredible the technology changes for realtors over the last 20 years.
Yeah, we talked about signing documents electronically. This in Command, that's all going to be within the one group. So I can go to you, get a document, send it to you, and have you sign it. And that's unbelievable. I mean, sometimes it takes a little to cue people up on what to do. But once they're familiar with it, you send it out to 3 or 4 people, it all comes back, all completed and signed. The advancements in technology are really something in our business.
So since March, we've had a little twist in the way we operate. COVID has been a big impact on a lot of industries. Thankfully, the real estate sector has been strong. How's it been like for you?
Very strong. The residential market is out of sight. I pulled up this is through November. This is Plymouth County. And these numbers would reflect the cities and towns within Plymouth County. Year to date, we have over 6,251 pending, but more importantly, closed sales, 5,638, which is up 3%. A median price of $449, which is up 13% year to date over last year. 13% increase. The big thing right now, which is what's happening, month supply of inventory. So a year ago we had 3 months supply of inventory. Now we're down to 1 month supply of inventory. Days on market, a year ago, 65 days on market, now it's 35. So what is happening is prices are going up, inventory is coming down, and the days on market's decreasing, which is that whole thing that a lot of buyers are frustrated with, is trying to find a house, being able to make an offer, get in to make an offer. And then they're competing with 5, 6, 7
bidding wars.
Bidding wars, and then a buyer today takes 4 or 5 shots at it to find a
Terrible.
house. It's very stressful.
And I know people aren't looking to move because they're afraid they'll be stuck.
A lot of people, how do they do that? How do you sell one house and buy another house?
Right.
That's very difficult. A lot of my success has been working with people that are, first-time buyers coming into the market, or they're renters that don't have something to sell, or I was working with a couple that, they had no mortgage on their house so they could sell at any time, so they didn't have to worry about that transition. So that's extremely stressful. So it's a tough market. Where's it going to go? I don't know. I think it's going to, with low interest rates the way they are today, and they're not really. I don't foresee an increase in the rates. The big determining factor for us will be employment. People continue to have jobs. I think it's still some questions out there.
Even the stimulus doesn't give guarantee. It's just a stopgap,
Stopgap, right. And what will happen with, and we know what the stress that the restaurant business is going through.
Right.
But there's a food business associated with restaurant business. There's all the industries surrounding the restaurant business.
Right.
So it's just going to keep going right now.
But it's been a pretty strong year to date.
Very strong year. Very strong year. And the sellers, people that are selling in this market, are experiencing 13, 14, 15% increase in prices over a year ago. So the market certainly is a seller's market.
So let's focus on buyers a little bit, because that's difficult to be a buyer right now. What would your top tips be to someone looking to purchase a home?
I would tell any buyer today, even anybody thinking of buying, and it was actually in the paper over the weekend, in the Globe, in the real estate section of the Globe. Pretty good article. If you can go back, if they have it online, they should go back and read this article. Linda Q from Champion Real Estate out of Dorchester was quoted in it. But don't quit, don't give up. Get your finances in order. Get your credit in order. If it's 600 today, make it 750.
So that's a pre-approval letter.
And get a pre-approval letter. But if you can't get that pre-approval letter today, if you work with a good finance person, a good residential mortgage loan officer, they will coach you on how to retire some debt and save some money and begin to improve your credit score. It's all about the credit score. And then you can work on your finances and save some money. And you don't today, with prices going up, but your FHA loans are available, mass housing, low money down is available. So if you can't buy today, maybe you can buy within 12 months. And that would be my big tip for any buyer today. Look to the future. You don't have to, maybe it's not going to be April. Maybe it's December of 21. Maybe it's 2022. But get in the market when you can.
So let's talk to sellers, people that are looking to downsize. What tips would you give to them in this environment?
So we talk about how fast these houses are moving. And they move fast if they're priced correctly, within a they're 5 to 10% of what you see in the marketplace. And get ready to sell. A lot of people aren't ready to sell. The house is full of stuff. We've talked about this many times. The yard doesn't look so good. And you know what? You can paint a few rooms. It doesn't hurt to paint a few rooms. Most people say, well, I just want to put it on the market. And I wouldn't do it. Because even though there's a lot of buyers coming in the house, it's amazing how fast. They don't want to do anything. They don't want to clean it. They just want to move in. And they want to be at home. So as a seller, even right now, it's December. If you're thinking of selling in the first quarter or thereabouts, next week, make a list, an inventory of what you got to do in the house.
Well, it looks like at the time of the taping of this show, we're going to get our first snowstorm of the year. And I know it changes how you can do things when there's a foot of snow in the ground.
Yeah.
And people aren't quite sure about if you can't see the roof, if you can't see the ground. There's a little different twist to how people look at it, but the real estate market goes on.
Well, I don't know if I told you this story before. I was selling my brother-in-law's house three years ago or so. And the week between the Super Bowl, that week that's...
Oh, sure.
It was beautiful. It was like 45, 50 degrees, Saturday and Sunday, open house, 20 people every day, it was packed. And then in that year it was 2015, because it snowed the next weekend. And the next weekend...
Oh, God, I remember that.
And he was depressed by the end of February.
Oh, God, you couldn't see the houses.
Couldn't see the house. Forget the roof. You couldn't get in.
Right.
I said, Rick, are you shoveling the front walk? What do you mean shoveling? So the snow doesn't help at all, certainly. But We've been fortunate. Once the snow, we take a few days off, we, clean everything up, and we get back at it,
So let's talk about the turn of the year. We're getting into a January projection a little bit. The rates are still going to be good, it looks like.
Yeah, I don't think, a lot of people are afraid of elections and this whole election thing, and I don't think that plays a part in my business and lending and buying and selling of real estate. Because as I say, the rates there's not a sign of inflation that's going to really affect the interest rates. The economy, people working is important. And so coming into the new year, this is when people start making plans. Buyers looking to get in the market. Are they getting married in 2021? Are they going to have a new place to live? Where are they going to live? All those types of things. And I think as we get through this pandemic, I think people are going to be a little more positive. You're going to see the wedding place take, all those. I've already heard, in fact, I was talking with somebody yesterday, his son was supposed to get married in 20, now getting married May of 21, and you can't find a place to get married in, I guess, he's telling me. So that's a good sign for our economy, and I think we see a light at the end of the tunnel, honestly.
So let's talk a little bit about first-time home buyers, how difficult it is. I know there are some great programs out there, but it's very difficult for people to move forward.
It's difficult because they get beat up with this whole marketplace. I was fortunate. I was working with a young couple. They bought in Taunton. They found it was the fourth try. But thank God they were resilient. I mean, the young lady, they weren't married yet. They're married now. And after one of the rejections, she was in tears. Absolutely in tears.
Because that house to her was...
It went 25 over ask.
Yeah.
It was 350, Taunton, beautiful house.
Yeah.
I told them 375. They went in like 360 or 362. They got blown away. They were like, and I don't know what, I could find it now, but I was told, you're third in line. And I told her that, and she was in tears, absolutely shattered. So I said, hey, come on, pick it back up. Let's get back on the field here. You played sports, right? Get back up to bat again. And you know what? We had our turn, and we won, the next time around.
Oh,
so
good.
They get a little battered and bruised as a first-time buyer out there in this kind of a market. You don't have a lot of decision. You got to be prepared.
Right.
What do you see? You like it? Make it off.
You can't get your heart set on one place.
There's another house.
Right.
Every buyer should remember, there's another house. Told all my kids that, don't worry about it, there's another house.
So let's talk about tips you can give to people that are first-time home buyers.
A
little bit different than regular
buyer.
buyer.
With the process, so talk to a lender. Also talk to a realtor. Spend some time. What am I going to go through? They don't know what points are. They don't know the home inspection process. They never met a home inspector. I'm going to tell you, they never met one. So they don't even know what they're faced with. What am I going to do? Do I have to go? I've had them ask me, do they have to go? Talk about that whole, from the time you make an offer to the time you close. What happens? A lot of times they kind of come in, not really knowing what to expect. They haven't sat down and talked to someone.
Have any people you've been dealing with taken homeowners classes in advance?
I would say 50% of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
It's a great thing, and that's in this article. They talk about mass housing requires that you take a homeowners class.
Yeah, I had one of their representatives here a couple months ago.
Yeah.
They have some great programs.
Great programs.
Yeah.
And affordable, and in fact, this article points to the fact, and I agree 100%, we don't utilize it enough. Everybody goes towards FHA because it's so simple, but mass housing is a better program.
And there are some special programs out there. I know Brockton has a down payment program, assistance program.
I haven't used one recently, but those are available as well. Usually it comes through this first-time buyer, mass housing, those types of programs. Right?
Good. So why don't you share your contact information?
Okay, well, it's William M. Callahan. I have my grandfather's phone number, 508-583-8000. And his first office is right here on Main Street, 2 blocks away. And he had that phone number at the time. You didn't have to dial the 58. It was 38000.
So where,
1927.
so where was his office?
It was, remember the Kennedy building down here
Sure.
in Frazier's?
Yeah.
It was right down below here. I think it's like 2 blocks. And it was up on the 4th floor of that building. And my grandfather had a stroke, so my father took over. And we used to walk from St. Patrick's Church, or the school behind the church, up Main Street, and go up to the 4th floor and wait for my father to, give us a ride home. We'd be at the Y or something.
I remember I worked over at the old Shawmut building years ago.
Right.
And your father was going up and down those stairs all the time to the Creedon.
Right.
Or he did a lot of work with the Creedons.
Yeah, well, they were on the 4th floor, 3rd floor right there, yeah.
Next to the Wainwrights.
Next to the Wainwrights. I walked those stairs many, many times.
Great.
The elevator was so slow. You could walk up the stairs and down the stairs before the elevator even opened up.
So would you like to give a holiday greeting to our viewers?
Yes, I wish everybody a very Merry Christmas and a happy, safe New Year.
Great. Well, as always, thank you for joining the show.
My pleasure to be here.
Great. So welcome back to segment 3 of the Register's Report. My name is John Buckley. I'm the Register of Deeds for Plymouth County. I want to thank Bill Callahan for the great job he did in describing how realtors do their work these days, talking about how they've been able to work their way through the pandemic and how they've been able to do their work without really having a lot of contact with people during these times. And also a little futuristic look at what he sees the real estate market doing as we make the turn into the new year. On this segment of the show, we have holidays in December, Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day on the 7th, Hanukkah started on the 10th, Hanukkah ends on the 18th, winter solstice, thankfully, is the 21st when we start to turn to longer days, and Christmas on the 25th. We have a few great stories, all related to the holiday season in our notable county records. First, Edward Rowe Snow. Edward Rowe Snow was a well-known author and historian from Marshfield. He wrote over 100 books, stories about pirates and shipwrecks, and a lot of things about New England, but he's well known for having been a flying Santa. There's a story in today's Boston Globe about flying Santas. They were individuals who went up in planes and dropped gifts on the lighthouse islands for the lighthouse keeper's family. Even today, by helicopter, they do deliver gifts, and they're delivering them today, not so much to lighthouse keepers because a lot of them are automated, but to Coast Guard families. And so Edward Rowe Snow was not only a flying Santa, but he also was a dedicated preservationist and a lover of the Boston Harbor Islands, and there's a plaque in his honor on George's Island. Next is another notable land record relative to the holiday season. Many of us will remember Edaville Railroad, not operating these days, but it's still a great memory for people that would go down to Carver, get on the train and go through villages set up. It was set up by Ellis Atwood. His initials were EDA, and that's how Edaville Railroad's name came about. He became very involved in the cranberry industry, and in his bogs, he set up a train, and a narrow gauge railroad steam engine train, and he basically brought people around through the bogs at Christmas time in particular, and it was a major tourist attraction. Next is a well-known person for Christmas holidays, James Edgar. James Edgar was a Scottish immigrant from Edinburgh, Scotland, who opened Edgar's department store on Main Street in Brockton, and he basically used to dress up in the store as a sea captain, a clown, George Washington, and other costumes for the entertainment of the children of shoppers. However, in December 1890, he dressed up as Santa Claus based on a new cartoon of a jolly Santa Claus drawn in 1863 by a famous cartoonist, Thomas Nast. He didn't intend for it to be a commercial attraction. However, it was. People came from Boston and Providence to see James Edgar dressed up as Santa Claus for Christmas shopping. He became the first department store Santa, a tradition which carries through today. A lot of department stores, though it's a little different this year with COVID, have over the years have Santa Claus in their stores during the pre-holiday season. And last but not least, this being 2020, the 400th anniversary of the arrival of the Mayflower, we talk about some of our colonial records. Now, clearly it's been a different year this year because of the COVID problems. This was supposed to be a great year of celebration for the Plymouth 400 and many events that have been postponed till next year. However, we at the Registry of Deeds have the colonial records in a temperature humidity controlled vault that we developed with our Plymouth County Commissioners. And in those records, there's some incredible stories of the early colonists. A lot of first for America. America's first public works project, America's first ferry, America's development of town clerks, and all of those are written in the handwriting of the colonists and 17th century writing. One in particular is my favorite. The Cut River Canal was a decision by the colonial court to build America's first canal from Plymouth Harbor through Duxbury Harbor over to Green Harbor. The colonial court decided in 1636 that a boat passage 18 feet wide and 6 foot deep would be dug by hand by 10 men of the colony at a time. Because of the size of ships, there were a lot of shipwrecks off of Gurnett Point, and people even today can travel over parts of the Cut River. If you drive over the road out to Duxbury Beach on Gurnett Road, you see remnants of it. But if you go to the other end of the Cut River Canal over by Green Harbor Lobster Pound, you can see where it widens. Certainly a great part of American history. I want to thank Lorna Green Baker, Christine Richards for helping me put this show together. This is my 122nd show here at Brockton Cable Access, so I thank Brockton Cable Access. Particularly today, Isaac Cabral worked the studio and the camera for me. We take this show, it gets broadcast on Brockton Cable Access, and I take a copy of it and send it out to cable stations throughout Plymouth County. So I hope you have a great holiday season. Merry Christmas. I'll see you in the new year, and we'll do a summary of the year on my show in January. So please take care and enjoy the holidays.